Yo.
I hate that I love that Nickelback song so much.
Well, that's why I did the mashup. So you got the Imagine Dragon, so it makes it a little better. I think. I'm not sure. I don't know if that makes it more chat-ish or not.
I'm not sure what it does, but it does it.
Oh, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 114 of White Heat. Joseph Alexander here once again, joined by the lovely Joanna Robinson.
Woo! What up? It's hot in here, so my hair had to go up.
The beauty of
I have it
central
down in
air.
beauty. I know, right? I'm in my office, and it's a dumpster fire in here, so like we haven't been able to put the air conditioning in.
Oof.
So the door's open, and if we get a visitor by the name of Scribbles, it's because the door's open, so I can get some air in here.
See, all I have to do is flip a switch, and it's beautiful. So yeah. So we've been off for a couple of weeks because I had some stuff going on. If you haven't noticed, I'm not wearing the usual glasses. I have to wear these right now because I had some eye stuff going on, and I had to have a procedure done last week because I had a torn retina, and they had to do lasers in one eye and needles in the other. So
That was an awesome text, by the way. Like, hey, I can't see.
Yeah,
I'm blind.
Yeah. So I'm slowly regaining my vision. I should be back to 100% hopefully by the end of this week. But yeah, had a little bit of a scare, but I'm okay.
Also, don't you have something going on Friday?
Yes, I do. Friday, I'm officially an old man because I'm getting the Roto-Rooter treatment so they can figure out what's going on with my colon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He works for Roto-Rooter. Maybe he'll do it for you.
So anyways,
hi, Ranger.
Also just as a heads up to everyone who's listening to this, listening or watching the day this came out, happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
Yep, and also happy Pride Month, because I don't think I don't know if we've been on since June started or not. I can't even remember at this point. But if not, once again,
we did not.
Happy Pride.
We have not. I don't think we've been on. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we haven't been on. So happy Pride.
Yeah, happy Pride. It's been a decent month so far for some of us. Unfortunately, not for others, as I have found out. So anybody that knows me in regular life or follows me on my, on some of my social media knows I've been at war with the mayor of my city for pretty much since the day he was inaugurated.
I feel like as long as we've known each other, basically.
Well, this is his third year in office, so it hasn't been that long, and he's just unfortunately our city's mayor is a giant fucking bigot, and he hates being called out on it, and bigot in the sense of racist and homophobic. He refuses to acknowledge Pride Month, to the point where 2019 was the first year my city actually passed the ordinance for the pride flag to be flown at city buildings. So not that long ago. 2021, right after his inauguration, he struck that down. So now it's not allowed anymore. That's the kind of message you want to send. Guess what? Everyone's going to call you out on it. So I've been at his throat for the past few years about it because every June he doesn't do anything to acknowledge Pride. So it came to a head this morning.
Oh,
like worse than, and I wasn't even involved.
What?
I wasn't even involved. I wasn't there.
I have popcorn out of M&Ms. Tell me.
I wasn't there, but this is so. What happened was, with a bunch of us calling him out on it this year, he basically decided to put his money where his mouth was, and said that he would have an open public conversation about the topic. So he set up a date to have a open discussion with a friend of mine who initiated it, my friend Mel. And he said that, he said, yada, yada. And so Mel let it be known last night, June 19th, 8 a.m., this cafe this cafe on Main Street. I am meeting up with the mayor to discuss his issues with the LGBTQ community. Unfortunately, I have physical therapy in the morning, so I couldn't go, but I told Mel, just, let me know how it goes. And he texted me when he got home. Yeah. So I'm just going to read this as it was written to me. Dude, you should have been there. He specifically had you on his mind, so you automatically win. He ended the meeting in a screaming fit. He screamed at my guests, then said it was supposed to be a one-on-one and I shouldn't have invited them in front of them in a public place. To which point I said, holy shit, dude. And I thought that would be it. And then he said, he also told me if I wasn't so visibly LGBTQ, I wouldn't be harassed as much. Yes, that is the same as you were dressed that way. You deserved it.
Dude, that's exactly where my brain went. And I don't like that.
Yeah. That's how much of a scumbag our mayor is. And you see, the thing is, later today, I'm attending a Juneteenth celebration in Bristol. And I guarantee the mayor's not going to be there, but you know something? All of his detractors are going to be there, including my friend Mel, and this is going to get spread far and wide.
Oh.
Because that was some bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't want to start the show off on such a low note. I wanted to start off with, well, I mean, I want to keep this going, and I want to give some good news about the channel. I have two bits of good news. I'm going to give one now, and I'm going to give one at the end of the show. It's going to be a good. So, as many know, have been following us since we were still on the other channel when Godzilla Media kind of went under. We moved the show over to my channel that I've had for a long time. And I can happily say Full Circle Radio Network, as of today, June 19th, officially has our first partnered sponsor.
Woo! Partner. Who is our sponsor? Or your sponsor, I should say. It's not really mine.
I'm trying to make sure I've got it set up for this one. I need it. Where did it go? Oh no. Am I going to screw this up right from the beginning?
No.
Add. All files. That's why. Wait, where is it? Is it under the downloads file?
No.
Oh, well, I don't have the logo up, but I will just go up. So our new sponsor is epicshirts.ca. They're a Canadian shirt company. They have a vast array of products ranging from t-shirts to casual wear to MMA gear to even scrubs. They have a lot of retro wrestling stuff, retro band stuff, and they are expanding their library by the day. I'm just going to show a couple of things that I found that I found that I really liked. Here's one of the shirts they have. I used to have that poster on my wall growing up. That was the
Oh my God.
I had on my wall when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And then like they've got cool retro. So like check out this Midnight Express shirt. I dig that.
Yes.
And then they got some cool stuff as far as like TV and movies go. Check out this little type.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I want that for Madeline, my friend Madeline. She loves Friends and she loves horror movies.
Yep. And then they
it's
even
fantastic.
This cool Breaking Bad one. And then they actually have this series of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rash guard shirts. They're like what you wear when you're actually like working out, and they're all like Spider-Man themed.
Ooh.
They're like compression shirts.
Stranger, stop.
Yeah, they've got like they've got some really good stuff, and everything is moderately priced.
Oh, that's always a plus.
Yep. And so what you can do is the link is below if you're on YouTube, or it will also be linked on the Spotify. You go to epicshirts.ca. If what do you call it? You can either use the link there, or you can use the promo code at checkout, Full Circle Radio, and you will receive 10% off your order. And it's not your first order, it's any order. So you can keep on getting the savings. It's not like one of those introductory, you get it only once and then, shuffle off. Nope, you can keep using it. I would also subscribe. I would also suggest subscribing to the newsletter because they are updating all the time. There's a few bugs on their website they're still working out, so bear with them because they do have new owners. But
I was about to say,
but they are doing pretty well for themselves. I've had great communication with the owners of the company, and I hope this is the beginning of a very long and fruitful relationship. So, as I said, that is epicshirts.ca.
I will
Link
be
in the
checking
description below. Yeah, they're fun. They got a lot of stuff, and they're still got more to come.
Oh, hell yes. Good, because there's always more fucked up pop culture that needs to be made out of shirts.
Exactly.
Made out of shirts.
All right. So that being said, my eyes aren't what they were. So let's jump right in with the fuckery to begin.
Oh.
So since the last time we were on air, AEW did hold Double or Nothing, which I sat through, unfortunately. I didn't pay for it, but I sat through it.
There you go. That's the bonus.
As many people know, the big news coming out of that night, MJF has officially returned from his injury. Unfortunately, it looks like he has signed an extension with AEW, which I think is the worst move he could have made. Like, I understand he's probably getting paid a good amount. He probably got, he probably told Tony Khan, I want X amount of money, and got it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you would be making that much. I wouldn't say you'd be making that much in WWE, but you would still be getting paid well in WWE, plus merch, plus way more exposure, and the chance to be on a bigger stage. Like, you're going to quarter full arenas. And then, of course, there was the controversy of he showed off a tattoo that he has on the back of his leg.
Yes.
Yeah, saying bet on yourself and AEW on a poker chip. That was airbrush. I've seen plenty of airbrush temporary tattoo work. That was airbrush. And he was smart to do it there on the back of the ankle, because then he can always be wearing boots and you never have to see it. Because I'm sorry, but no one would be that. Like, I could see him getting one that says bet on yourself. I would never see him getting an AEW logo tattooed on his body.
No.
Because even he knows eventually he wants to go to the big leagues.
Absolutely. Don't they all?
Right. And it's just the matter of, okay, you're going to get X amount of money, but as it's looking right now, AEW still has not gotten a new TV deal yet. They're still in negotiations, and their contract is up this year with Warner Brothers Discovery. And as it is right now, the offer that Warner Brothers has on the table is nowhere near what Tony Khan thinks he should be getting, and their ratings keep going down. So they very well could not have a TV show at the end of this year. Their best case scenario right now is they bite the bullet and re-sign with Warner Brothers for a much lower amount, and then get transferred over to True TV. They won't be on TBS and TNT anymore. So if they are on TV, the ratings are going to dwindle even more. If they're not on TV, like, a lot of people are going to want out of their contracts. And if you're going to if Tony Khan just says I'm done and folds the company because he doesn't want to play anymore, like, yeah, you have a contract saying he owes you X amount of money for X amount of years, but you better have a good lawyer to be able to get you that in court, and you're going to be fighting in court for that money to get it.
Yeah.
So it's not a smart move. The other thing that came out was the 2 days after Double or Nothing was Dynamite a couple of weeks ago, where they decided to hold another one of those stupid casino gauntlet matches, which is like a battle royal, but it's a gauntlet match, but it's not a gauntlet match because whoever gets the first pin wins, even if there's more guys that are still supposed to come in. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever. And they put over Will Ospreay, who had just won their international title. So all of us that said Swerve is dropping the belt to Ospreay at Wembley, guess what? We were wrong. He's going to be dropping it to fucking Ospreay at Forbidden Door. And everyone's like, oh, no, they'll do something, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're going to have Ospreay win at Wembley. I'm like, no, I figured it out. I have it figured out. And I don't think anyone else has realized this, because what they did was they announced the Owen Hart tournament again for this year, which, funny, because they announced Double or Nothing was the day after King of the Ring, if you recall. Now, remember, King of the Ring was whoever won King and Queen of the Ring got a title shot at SummerSlam, their biggest event of the summer. So then during the pre-show or Double or Nothing, Tony Khan comes out with Martha Hart and says, oh, yeah, we decided this year that the people who win the Owen Hart tournament will get title shots at All In Wembley. Yeah, I wonder where you came up with that.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was just like, at that point, a lot of us were like, well, it's a given. Will Ospreay is going to win the fucking Owen Hart tournament. But then he goes and wins this thing. So now we're like, okay, so that means whoever wins the Owen Hart tournament is going to face the champion at All In. There's no way they're going to be able to do Swerve versus Ospreay a second time at Wembley if the winner of the Owen Hart tournament is supposed to have that spot. So then it all dawned on me and I figured it all out. Because Tony Khan is a Mark Booker. And Tony Khan thinks back to when was the last time my company was hot, quote unquote. The last time Tony Khan thought his company was doing well was when he had Kenny Omega as his champion, and Kenny was the belt collector. And he had the AEW title and the AAA title and the Impact title and the fake TNA title. And he was just like, I have all the belts for all the different companies. And it was horrible. It was terrible because every company that worked for him got nothing out of it. TNA never got a single AEW talent to appear on TNA at the time. Kenny dropped the belt to Christian on Rampage, and then Christian went and dropped it to Rich Swann at an ancillary Impact pay-per-view. Kenny never lost the AAA belt. He just relinquished it because of his like 9-month injury span when he didn't want to work. So nobody benefited. But so I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, so Ospreay just won the international title, but now you're giving him a shot at the world title. And the thing was, while Swerve has been the champion, he's not the focal point of the show. He never is. He's had one main event match as champion, and that was last week. He's treated as an ancillary character. He's treated as second fiddle to the freaking shit with the Young Bucks. But meanwhile, John Moxley,
the Young Bucks.
Yep. Meanwhile, John Moxley won the New Japan title like a month ago, and they've been featuring him as the New Japan champion all over fucking Dynamite and Collision. So this is my prediction, and I said this, and people don't want to believe me, but based on Tony Khan's Mark booking, here's what I'm pretty sure is going to happen. Will Ospreay is going to defeat Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door and win the AEW championship. He will then hold the AEW championship and the international title. John Moxley will go on to win the Owen Hart tournament. Yeah. So it will be Will Ospreay versus John Moxley at All In, title for title. And Ospreay is going to walk out with the AEW title and the IWGP. Because Tony Khan thinks that will sell tickets. And that will sell pay-per-views, because then what he's hoping Kenny will come back from his diverticulitis and they can do this mythical feud that Dave Meltzer is claiming Tony is building for just him to do Ospreay versus Omega again, because Omega talks shit about Meltzer's star ratings And Osprey has the most star ratings of any wrestler ever by Dave Meltzer. So it's all for his fucking enjoyment, apparently. And it's stupid. Oh, also at Double or Nothing, mind you, they had that barbed wire steel cage match of Edge against Malachi Black. So
yeah,
Edge,
they did, huh?
Yeah, Edge did a stupid ass dive off of the cage down to a table and broke his leg. So even though he won, he had to relinquish the TNT title the next day on Twitter. So get this. This shows how terrible of a booker Tony Khan is. So back when Sting retired, Sting and Darby Allin were the tag champions. Sting retired, so the belts were vacated. What did they do? They held a tournament to crown new tag team champions where the final match in the tournament would take place at the next pay-per-view in a ladder match. That was how the Young Bucks won the tag belts. So when Adam Copeland relinquished the TNT title, they did this bit on Dynamite where the Elite came out and were about to hand the TNT title to Jungle Fuckboy because they just would. But that's when Christopher Daniels came out, and now Christopher Daniels is Timu Adam Pearce, apparently. He's the new GM, like looking just like Adam Pearce. And he says, no, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have a tournament. And the finals of the tournament will take place at Forbidden Door in a ladder match. You just fucking did this. This is number one, it's mark booking. Number two, it's indie booking. Because you could get away with that on an indie if you were running once a month. You can't do the same story twice in a row for vacated belts in a span of 4 fucking months.
Nope.
And of course, we all know Jungle Fuckboy is going to end up winning it anyway. So what was the point? You already telegraphed this shit. Meanwhile,
just something so wonderful about Jungle Fuckboy. Just the name. Jungle Fuckboy. If I ever get into wrestling, Jungle, forget Dreidel Johnson. Dreidel Fuckboy. Or fuck girl, I don't know. Is there a fuck boy? Fuck girl? What is the female equivalent of this?
The female equivalent of a fuckboy is a skank.
No. Jungle fuck skank. There it is. I don't know if that should be my wrestling name or my porn name now. Or both. They do wrestling porn. And I'm out for the summer. I need some money.
So anyways.
On that note.
So also, there was also a bunch of, unfortunately, we deal with a lot of bullshit tribalism, as we all know. So, NXT had their Battleground event a couple of weeks ago, and they held it at the Apex, the UFC arena in Vegas. Now, they sold out at 700 seats. The thing is, the Apex doesn't hold that many people. The Apex, when it's set up for UFC, holds 550, so they were able to add 150 seats. And everyone was bragging, they only sold 700 seats for NXT. Yeah, the seats were the lowest price ticket was $150 for the event. So they did all right because they sold out and they didn't have to pay for the building because they own the building. Meanwhile, the next Ring of Honor show that's happening next month is set up for 900 people and they've only sold 600 seats so far. So you tell me, who gets to brag on what as far as attendance goes when it comes to, because Ring of Honor is fucking dead. It is deader than dead. And the last thing I'll touch on is Dynamite is tonight, unfortunately. I don't want to have to watch it. Hopefully I can just DVR it and scan through before the next episode. By the way, their ratings are still doing bad. What was it last week? They did 681, I think. They're back down. So because they figured everyone thought the MJF coming back would bring them back at least above 800,000. Nope. They did 780 and then like 783 and then they did 681. So yeah, but this is the card for Wednesday night. So don't mind me. I'm just going to check over on my other tab here. So in the Owen Hart tournament, we've got Claudio against Pac. So Cesaro against Adrian Neville, an all WWE match. Then you've got this all-star 8-man tag. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Dante Martin versus Kyle Fletcher, Roderick Strong, Takeshita, and Zack Sabre Jr. Now tell me how much sense this makes. Mark Briscoe is the Ring of Honor champion, who also jobbed out in the first round of the Owen Hart tournament, which just makes your ROH title look like shit. Cassidy and O'Reilly have no there's no even keel between these four guys, and Dante Martin's only there because his brother's injured again, because one of the Martin brothers is always injured. On the other side, you have Fletcher and Takeshita, who are part of Don Callis' stable, Roderick Strong, who's part of the Undisputed Kingdom, and then you have Zack Sabre Jr. there for reasons, because we're having Forbidden Door and we need to find a reason to have Zack Sabre Jr. on the show so we can put him on the pay-per-view.
Reasons.
Then we've got MJF versus Roosh, and that's going to be the kickoff. That's going to be the kickoff match, commercial free, because people are going to care about that. When the opening match is always a skewed number because of the lead-in from Big Bang Theory, because Big Bang Theory goes until 8 or 8:01. So it's already part of their first 15 minutes, and that's why you always see a drop-off after the first 15. But you bring MJF back. This is your former champion who hasn't been seen since you dropped the belt. And this is what you do. You put him in there against Roosh, who hasn't been on TV in months, which is hilarious, because when MJF comes back and Roosh is just like, he gets to take all this time off. I've been here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you haven't, bro. You ain't been on TV. What the hell are you talking about?
Bro, whatever you're taking, I want some.
Right. So then we have the contract signing.
Bye, Rogue.
Between Timeless Tony Storm and Kira Shirakawa, who's the chick who's been teasing making out with the chick that comes out with Tony Storm, because they used to tag in Stardom. Then we've got a face-to-face between Swerve and Ospreay.
Wait, but are they making out? Because then I'll tune in.
No, they literally do the face-to-face up and almost kiss and then turn away. It's the stupidest shit.
What a cock tease. Bet you they'd have more viewers if they kissed.
Nah, because I think that's what they're gearing on too, but I guarantee that if they actually do, it's not going to spike their ratings.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just being a dick.
And then we have the Young Bucks defending the tag team titles against the Acclaimed. For reasons. Oh, because here's the other thing, was basically the Young Bucks realized that the elite storyline isn't getting over. So Tony and them decided, well, the Acclaimed were hot like a year ago, so let's just saddle ourselves to them, even though they're not over anymore. Because the Elite are challenging four or five of AEW's best to Blood and Guts, which is their knockoff War Games.
Nice.
So we know, or no, it's going to be 4-on-4. So we know it's going to be the Elite, and we know it's going to be the Acclaimed, Billy Gunn, and one other person. Which Blood and Guts is dumb because, number one, it's a blatant War Games ripoff. Number two, they do it on free TV instead of on a pay-per-view because they're dumb. You can't do it on TV because you have commercial breaks. Also, the point of a War Games match is to keep everyone in the cage. Their shit always goes out of the cage and onto the roof and yada, 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 and it's stupid. And
you're on TV. Say hi. She actually does watch wrestling, so I think that it's kind of funny that she jumped up. She was like, I'm jumping, and I was like, all right, do it. Who's your favorite, baby? Wait, Scribbles. Who's your favorite wrestler? The Dollar, of course. There you go.
But yeah, so that's where all that's at, you know, and then they've got Forbidden Door in like a week. I think it's next Sunday. So I don't know if this is their go home show or next week's is, but it's just going to be more of the same fuckery where no one cares. And yeah. Oh, and yeah, because that's the other thing is they're having Mercedes Moné defend the TBS title against, what is her name? Shushi's or something. She's currently the New Japan Strong Women's Champion and the CMLL Women's Champion. So it's going to be another one of those things where you bring in this woman who's got championships in 2 different companies and she's going to do the job, because AEW always wins every match at Forbidden Door. Like, there's no point in it.
Yeah.
There's no point. Everyone knows the outcome. It's going to be bring in these Japanese people and then bring in the AEW people and do these quote unquote dream matches that no one cares about. As it is, they were supposed to hold Forbidden Door at Arthur Ashe Stadium this year, but there wasn't enough interest, so they had to move it to an indoor arena in Long Island. So that already shows where they're at. And plus, they're still doing the but Wembley bullshit. Guess what? August is fast approaching, and y'all ain't done shit for it. So y'all have fun, but I just don't see any of this coming. Oh, and that's it. The last bit that I wanted to cover about AEW was the most thin-skinned wrestler on the planet, Dax Harwood of FTR, released a video on Twitter last week stating that he has what was it? It's not a growth, but it's a hematoma on his back, and that he's severely injured and he has to take an indefinite amount of time off. And he says he's been injured for quite a while, but he didn't want to tell anyone because because FTR was being pushed and he had an obligation to the fans and all this shit. Yeah, here's the thing. If you have a subdermal hematoma on your back and it's the size of a football and you wear just regular wrestling trunks, people are going to see it. So either one, he's overplaying it, or 2, I would like to know how the hell he hit it. But he also said, he's like, I would be in the back and, Doc Samson would be like, are you okay? I'd be like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm just like, if that's what your backstage doctor does instead of actually giving you a fucking pre-match physical, then that just proves how shitty of a doctor he is. And that's, mind you, this is the same doctor that says, oh yeah, Paige is cleared to wrestle. Like, this is the same guy who sends people out all the time with concussions and all that shit, but lets people continue matches with concussions. It just, and plus, that was the whole thing of, AEW is the safest workplace possible. Then how come all these people keep getting injured?
I was about to say.
You're talking that's Edge and Dax in the same time span, because Dax is claiming that he's been hurt since their ladder match with the Young Bucks a few months ago. So, like, bro, just stop. Because it's just like, MJF just came back from injury. Copeland is out. Dax is out, which means they're not going to use cash. So basically FTR are both out. Adam Cole is still out. There's fucking like, there's so many people that are out. Apparently there was all this fuckery in the past week with this girl from Stardom, Megan Bain, who apparently she did an ROH or AEW show in November, and then afterwards Tony Khan said she was signed to AEW and she was never seen on TV. Now 6 months later, he's claiming she's a free agent and we're seeking on getting her. Bro, you said you signed her, which means you signed her to a 6 month, you signed her to a 6 month contract, never used her, and now are trying to sign her again because you think WWE might be interested in her. It's the same thing with Camille, the chick from NWA. Supposedly she's under contract and has been for months and hasn't been seen yet. Why? Because he's trying to make Mercedes Moné be his big draw, and that's just not happening.
Rose, leave her alone. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, the door is open, so the animals are like in and out. And like Rogue is my giant German Shepherd and just loves to chase scribbles. And Ranger has this weird licking thing where he has, if I have any piece of skin or if I have any revealed skin, like I'm wearing shorts or anything, he will lick. He just has to lick. And then Scribbles is, yeah, he stress licks on me. And then, you know, Scribbles is a kitten, so.
Yeah.
But I'm listening, I swear.
Oh, no. It's fine.
It's to those watching, see me being like, Rogue, stop. Ranger, no licking. You know, like, that's all it is.
Yep.
Oh, God.
So just overall, AEW is completely fuckle-tarded right now. And it's not going to get any better. And the ratings are proof of that. And that's all I have to say about that.
I love that.
And I feel
another one I want to use. Suckle-tarded.
Yeah. So I feel like that's enough time that's been dedicated to them. So yeah, fuck that noise.
Can that be my finisher? Suckle-tarded?
Fuckle-tarded?
I thought you said suckle.
No, fuckle-tarded.
Fuckle-tarded? All right. Best of both worlds.
All right. So let's move on to WWE.
Oh.
So let's see here. Where am I?
Now this I watched.
Yes. So Clash at the Castle happened on Saturday. And I'm half glad, but I'm half not that we waited to do this show because I want to see what happened on Raw before I pass judgment. But unfortunately, my judgment still needs to be passed concerning certain things, but we will get to that. So, opening up the show in the curtain jerker where they belong, Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles in an I Quit match.
Which I'm not going to lie, I was surprised that was the opener. I had a moment where I was like, really? Okay.
I wasn't, because of how many Scottish talents they had on the show. There's no way they could have let that close it.
That's fair. I thought they would have at least had it a little earlier. I didn't think it was the main event, but because obviously they're going to push Drew for main event. But I was still surprised that it was as early. You know, I could see it like maybe before.
Yeah. So, I don't know about you, but I wasn't a fan of this match. Here's my problem. Number one, okay, fine. You want to jumpstart it. It's an I Quit match. You could have kept it around the ring area. There was no reason to go through the backstage and all that shit. Like, it's not a false count anymore match. It's an I Quit. There's a difference.
Yeah, it was so random them going backstage. I'm like, where are you fuckers going?
Yep. I just have to say I am tired of Cody Rhodes gigging. Because as much as people complain about Jon Moxley doing it, which he does too much, I feel like every other quote unquote big match Cody has had in the past 4 years, he gigs.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think of that until you said it.
Like every other big match, he gigs. And he does it right in the hairline. So his bleach blonde hair is all freaking bloody. And people are like, blah, 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 blah. But when they use it sparingly, I'm like, using blood sparingly makes more sense. Yes, it does. However, Cody does it all the fucking time because Cody thinks that bleeding equals sympathy. And it does if you don't do it every other match. And especially because he always does it way too early in a match. Yeah. Every time Cody gigs, it's within the first 4 minutes. Like I specifically remember the first time I caught it. And it was at the original All In when he faced Nick Aldis for the NWA title, and we all knew Cody was going over because he freaking booked, because Billy Corgan was like, NWA title gets on a pay-per-view. Sure, I'll let Cody take it. And I remember it was like 2 minutes into the match, and Cody does a dive on the outside and then rolls under the announce table and is there for like 5 minutes trying to gig and then comes out all bloody. Like there was nothing setting up the gig. He just like flew out and then was like, what's going on, blah, blah. And then he comes out and he's like, oh, I'm bleeding. And I was like, this is stupid. I hate Cody Rhodes. And then so they do all this stuff with the plunder and this, that, back and forth, all the furniture, yada, yada. And like, yeah, I don't get how you're getting whipped like a redheaded stepchild and you're saying, screw you, blah, 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 blah. But then the moment you're handcuffed and you're in a corner and Cody goes out and grabs the stairs and holds them up 6 feet away from you, just go, no, I quit. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I thought that was odd too. I'm like, really?
Like, that was your finish?
That was it? And then he threw the chairs at him anyway. Or he threw the thing at him anyway. So I was like, what the fuck was the point of this?
I was like, a babyface champion would not do that.
No.
So yeah, I wasn't a fan of that match.
Does Cody have it in him to cross that line? No, he doesn't.
He's gonna turn heel, and then I'm gonna be like, "Oh, y'all just want to boo Cody now because he's a heel." I've been booing him because he's a piece of shit. Because fuck Cody Rhodes. Oh God, seriously, fuck Cody Rhodes.
I hate it though when we were at Raw and his music came on and we were like, "Fuck Cody!" Whoa!
That's okay. Thank you for reminding me. I officially hate the Scotland crowd more than the French crowd. Listen, I get being a loud and boisterous audience. I get that. I get wanting to, the crowd being engaged. That would be great. Not when you do the same chant straight for over 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that, oh, Cody Rhodes bullshit that they just would not fucking stop. I was like, I need to watch this on mute, but I can't because I need to see when people say I quit. Like it was just, it wouldn't stop. It was so bad. Like, dude, like come up with something else. I don't get it. Okay.
There were points where they were so loud and boisterous that like I couldn't even understand what they were screaming. Like it felt like they were just screaming to scream and be loud.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's nothing. I feel like that's nothing against them. I just was like, take a step back. You want to be cool, but we can't understand you.
Come up with some new material.
If we can understand you, then I'm jumping in too.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Out of my mouth.
So then we get the 3-way for the women's tag titles. Bianca and Jade against against Shayna and Zoe against the Unholy Union.
That match I have questions about.
Yeah.
That match I was like,
so obviously Jade got lost at points and we saw that. Because she's still learning. Then this is why like I get how they wanted to push her on the main roster to make her appear to be a star, but she really should have spent a year in NXT. Like she should have. I'm sorry, but she should have. And she could have drawn people to NXT if she was there.
Yeah.
Because she got lost a couple spots.
You know that if she went to NXT, she'd be in the main roster, but like within a year.
Right.
Like there's no doubt in my mind that she would have been called right up.
Right. Like, and that, because that's the thing is like, okay, she may be going to the PC, like, on the off weeks or whatnot and everything. That's great and all, but it would have been better if she just started there. And it would have humbled her. it's like, okay, yeah, you've got to do an odd job training with Bianca because they have chemistry and, obviously they hit it off as a friendship and everything. That's great and all, but she not done. She needs to be put back in the oven. I honestly, although I honestly thought they were going to retain, I didn't think they were going to drop the tag belts that fast. I knew that it was going to be either Shayna or Zoe that took the pin. I was like that. They're there to take the pin because I knew there was no way Alba and Isla were going to take the pin because they were Scottish.
They're Scottish. Yeah, they're not going to.
And plus the thing was, you also knew that, going in, they had the sympathy because even though they were a heel tag team, because Alba Fire's mom just died. Yeah. I don't know if you knew about that.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a car accident and then like 2 weeks later she died. Then it was like the week of. So, it's, and something.
I heard about that.
Right. But something, I'm okay with them winning the tag belts because I was getting pissed the last like 3 months how they were never getting used on TV. I was just like, you've got this amazing women's tag team who work well together, cut killer promos, do awesome vignettes. And like when I was in Hartford, they were on main event. I was like, why are they not on Raw? So I was happy as hell if they won the belts because, they can, they should have never dropped them to freaking Shayna and Ronda in the first place. That was bullshit.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, hopefully now, like they can ease back a little bit, give Jade some more training time. Because of course, everyone wants Jade and Bianca to split and go at each other, but that's not going to happen till Mania next year.
Yeah.
That's a slow burn.
I want that to happen too, but I also understand it needs to be a slow burn.
Right.
There has to be a reason. You can't just be like, now you lost the belt. Right. Now we're enemies. Ah.
Yeah. Yep. Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental title against Chad Gable. I thought it was a good match. I thought they definitely added to the program, so it didn't feel stale because this is their third encounter. I do think that maybe it was okay that they waited the extra 2 days, but I really expected Otis to turn on Gable during this match.
I actually was waiting for it as well.
Yeah. There were some people that were thinking it was going to be a swerve and like Maxine was going to act like she was turning on Gable, but then help him win.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I just sit there and I watch that and I was like, WWE. Promoting abusive relationships since the 80s.
Yeah. But I mean, and I was surprised Gable didn't go over, but it's okay. Sammy got a great ovation. They had a great match. We'll see where we go from here. Obviously Gable looks like he's going to have different intentions going forward, but we'll get to that when we cover Raw.
I was gonna say, thank you for putting it. I was about to be like, I think Chad Gable is dead. Remind me. I saw the best meme about after Monday Night Raw. I have to send it to you. You're not gonna like it because it's CM Punk, but it was funny as fuck. I laughed so hard. Anyway, Clash of the Castle.
Yep. Bayley versus Piper Niven.
That was a great match.
It was a great match.
I thought that was a really great match.
Yeah. I'm not a Chelsea Green fan, but I was like, okay, they did the fuckery where she got kicked out and then came back in a Rey Mysterio mask.
Did you see on Twitter? Okay, you'll enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
So on Twitter, they posted Chelsea with a mask and they said, wrestling names, wrong answers only.
Yep.
And Matt Cardona popped in and said Zack Ryder.
Oy.
And I fucking died. I was like, well done, sir. Yeah. Other than Chelsea Green, I really enjoyed the Piper Bayley match.
Yeah.
It was,
and I
really liked that.
I think Piper's going to be turning babyface very soon.
Yeah.
And that'll be good for her because, depending on what happens, she could, it'd be good for her to further a program with Nia, either for the belt or without. I think they would work well together, it's good, because Piper, she called her shot. She talked about how she went up to Trips and asked about, them being in Scotland, and Tripp said, well, we'll put something in motion. So Tripp's making good on listening to his talent. Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. And no, I don't think anyone was expecting Piper to win the title, but it was a good showing.
I know. I really wasn't sure, honestly. There was a point where, because of the crowd and stuff, I was like, maybe she is gonna win. But also, I'm thinking about SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah.
But again, that might have actually been my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, it was a good match.
I really enjoyed that match. Good storytelling.
So then we get to the main event.
Okay. First of all, Drew just needs to stop being scary and hot at the same time. It needs to stop. It's confusing the fuck out of me. It's that Bill Hader beat where like Mark me down is scared and horny. Like it's just very confusing to me. Because I'm like, he looked like he gonna rip my head off, but not before like he gives me a tender kiss first. Like it's ridiculous. He needs to stop. He needs to stop. It's killing me. I feel like I'm betraying Finn. It's not okay. It's not okay. He needs to stop that shit. Just stop.
So yeah. And so like I don't understand how you give Drew the huge entrance again. You give him the Piper core doing Roddy Piper's entrance music.
Piper choir, like what?
Right. Like hometown welcome. The second Damian Priest comes out, he's getting booed out of the building. Like it's like you were doing a heel versus heel match, but Drew was the 100% baby face because he comes there, and it's like the match was okay for what it was. The scary spot with Damian Priest almost losing his damn foot.
That was yeah. Say what you will, but that was kind of scary.
Yeah. And like that, that I've been at shows where shit like that has happened, and it's a dangerous thing, and it's never planned. Anybody that was like, "Oh, that was planned," no, it's never planned to hang by your foot. Never.
No.
Never. You can do the getting your arms caught in the thing, but that is never planned. And when it happens, it is scary as fuck because those ropes are tight as shit. Even when they're quote unquote loose, they're tight as shit.
Tight as shit. I've had to tighten ropes before.
Right.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
I have had to get in the ring in between matches and tighten ropes because I'm looking at them and I'm like, they look loose.
Right.
They are tight. That shit is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody, I don't think anybody wrestling wise wants to feel that.
Right. And people are like, oh, the ref knew that they were loose. They were showing early. I was like, no, because the ring crew checks the ring in between every match.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and like, I don't know. It's, it was, at least, whatever. He wasn't injured. So he's lucky.
Yes.
And, like I said, it was a serviceable match. Good, it was a good back and forth. I think Drew was carrying Priest, but whatever. That's my opinion.
I kind of thought this thing a little bit.
The moment there was a ref bump.
Yeah.
I was like, please don't. Because everyone was like, oh, no, Punk needs to screw Drew one more time. Yeah, I'm like, not in his home fucking country. He already got screwed at the last Clash at the Castle in Scotland.
Yeah. You're really gonna fuck Drew twice like that.
Right. And people are claiming, oh, but you need to realize this is a slow burn. Motherfucker, I am the master of slow burn. This entire thing between Drew and Punk has been going on since December of last year. That is a 7-month burn. That's not fucking hot potato. I don't understand how you can do this because Punk is still injured and we don't know when he's going to be cleared. Because they said that this injury is going to be like an 8 to 9 month injury in January. So what the fuck?
Why are you jumping?
So I don't understand why you couldn't have let Drew win, get his big win in Scotland, hold the belt for the next fucking month and a half, 2 months until SummerSlam, and have Punk screw him at SummerSlam. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, it's this is what I don't understand, and this is why, like, one of the reasons I said I wanted to wait to see what would happen on Raw before I said anything. But I don't understand how Punk comes out, fucks over Drew, kicks him in the dick. Drew loses. Punk is hanging outside with fans, like, wrapping their arms around him. Dude, that was the biggest heel move you could have done. Yeah. You have now nuclear heel heat as a she's back. It's okay. She's back. You now have nuclear heel heat to the point where they had to mute the crowd because the crowd was chanting bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just me, but Peacock literally just backed out to the main screen during it for me.
People got pissed.
Right.
So I saw a video of Samantha Irvine. It's the end of Clash, and she had to get on the mic and be like, "Thank you all for coming out. I'm sorry things didn't end the way you wanted to, but like we still hope you had fun and drive safe and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yo,
yeah,
that's how you're gonna make them calm down. Is having Samantha Irvine, God bless her,
right?
Be like, please don't be mad."
Right.
That's
like, I'm sorry, but I don't see the advantage of it happening with Punk still on the injured list. Like, there was no reason because Drew already got fucked at Mania. He got fucked out of being in King of the Ring because of Punk. Like, you didn't need this fuck over here. You should have let Drew hold the fucking belt for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, but Damian Priest as champ isn't cutting it. No one's buying it. No one's buying it. I'm sorry. He's had a few months now. No one's buying it. It's, and I'm sorry, but I have we'll get to it, but and so I even said, I was like, Punk needs to walk out on Raw and motherfuck the entire crowd, because I'm sorry, but no, that should be a double turn right there. That should be Drew can still be embittered and mad, but he could be an embittered and mad babyface. He doesn't need to remain a heel. And Punk I'm sorry, but fucking over a guy in his home country in front of a crowd of thousands who are cheering for him, dude,
that's fucked.
How do you not see that is nuclear heel heat? I don't understand. I don't understand how Trips couldn't see that coming.
As soon as that guy went down, I went, oh no.
Right?
Punk is going to come out. There was no way you couldn't tell me that he wasn't going to come out. There was no way you could tell me that he wasn't going to be there.
Especially when they did
Scotland. It's Drew's hometown. The two have been fucking with each other. Punk is going to show up.
Right.
How? Don't know.
Especially when they Especially when they showed the Twitter exclusive video of how Punk got the ref shirt.
Oh my God.
Was absolutely 1000% a heel move. That was a heel vignette. How the fuck?
That ref, I'm just like, she gonna get fired.
Just loan me your shirt real quick. Just loan me your shirt. Dude,
Why? Why would you ever be like, yeah, no, Punk will totally give this back.
I don't.
What do you need it for? Nothing. I'll tell you later. That's not fucking suspicious to you, bitch.
Right. And this has nothing to do with my sheer loathing of CM Punk as a person. Take that out of the equation. This was just the wrong booking move. I'm sorry. People are like, let him cook, let him something. No, because by the time we actually get Punk and Drew in a match, it's going to be months from now. Even if it's at SummerSlam, it's still months from now. It's too long. it's
and
of
then
course,
like the other thing that bothered me about that is like the camera angle.
yes,
That they weren't gonna show his face. And I'm like, bro.
right,
And you could see the other camera guy
right.
like showing his face. And I'm like, Michael Cole, you are right fucking there. You're right there. And you can't tell me that you don't recognize CM Punk's face. Come on, Michael Cole.
So to be fair, as a person who started off doing commentary,
okay,
when you are on the commentary table, you never look. I mean, unless you're at an indie show where you don't have the tech setup for it. When you are at it, when you are on the commentary table, the only thing you call is what you see in your monitor.
Okay.
Because that is the only thing that the person on TV sees.
Okay. And that being explained to me, that's understandable. That is way more understandable. So my bad, Michael Cole.
Yeah.
Rick, my bad.
There's plenty of other reasons to hate on Michael Cole, trust me.
And yeah. But like I was like, you are seriously not gonna play it. Like you don't fucking know that it's Punk.
Right.
What? Although the meme that remember the meme of like the it with the burying. What is it? The original the meme of the Flash in front of the fucking Oliver Quinn's grave, and then they turned that into like CM Punk, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, you mean with the in front of the gravestone with the
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that actually was originally from the Flash.
Oh, but I never knew.
Yeah, it was actually originally from the Flash. It was a behind the scenes photo that they took of Grant Gustin being silly, and they've continued obviously to use it for different things. But now they're actually using that shot of Punk going, like this,
right,
in the meme.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's funny, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it's wrong. Like, you really gonna do Drew dirty like that in his home fucking town?
I don't get it. I don't get
I was actually really upset. I was pissed.
Yeah.
And I hate it because there was a part of me that knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I was like, Punk's gonna come out.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just loading something here.
But to not give it to him was like, or to not give it to Drew. He kicked him in the balls. Come on.
Right. That was I was not a fan. I was not a fan of that at all. But so then we're expecting Raw to happen. We're like, okay, we'll give it till Raw. I won't call anything until we see Raw. So, where are we? So we open with Seth Rollins.
Yay, Seth is back. Yay.
He just had surgery.
I know. I thought that was don't get me wrong, I was really excited because fucking Seth Rollins. But also I was like, you get back a little early, sir. Like, really?
Yeah.
But okay, it's Seth Rollins. We're pretend like it's all right. No big deal.
And also, I called it because remember, so I think it was the Kentucky Derby him and Becky were at where he was one of those two, and everyone's like, Seth cut off all his hair. I'm like, no, he didn't. It's tied up under his hat.
I want you to know that I had a moment where I was like, did he cut it? And then they did a side view of it in a bun. I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, whoever did that just really tied it up back there. I was like, what? Good for them. Because I kind of was one of those people that was like, did he cut his hair? He wouldn't cut his hair. Did he cut his hair?
I just hope they're not bringing him back too early because of Damian Priest not being able to carry stuff, because Money in the Bank's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
It's coming up quick.
Mm.
So, but he came out, babyface the crowd, Priest comes out, yada, yada, and they set up Priest versus Rollins at Money in the Bank. So, okay. I guess. Sure. I have thoughts as to what's going to happen, but we'll get to it. So then we have Chad Gable all mad, saying he needs to get back on his thing, yada yada, and it's going to start tonight. And his first match is against
I love
Braun
that.
Strowman.
As soon as he was like, "Give me somebody, give me," Adam Pearce was like, "All right, I got something for you." I was like, "It's gonna be a big mother. It's gonna be one of the big motherfuckers." And then out came Braun Strowman, and I was like, "Yep, that's a big motherfucker."
Yep. There's one big son of a bitch.
I was like, "Yep, sounds about right."
And then the Gable, all the fuckery with the rest of the Alpha Academy. Gable doesn't win, and he goes off on them afterwards. He throws Maxine's crutch, gets in Otis's face, and Otis finally says no more and shoves Gable and walks away. Obviously, we know that, okay, now the split is happening. Supposedly, what they're leading to is Chad Gable recruiting the Creed brothers to be his new Alpha Academy. I'm not a fan. Because they're like, obviously everyone's like, it's going to be like the new Team Angle. Yeah, no, Haas and Benjamin were a special breed. The Creed brothers are not.
No,
You can't just be like, oh, they're collegiate guys and they wear singlets. It's not the same.
Total side note. When Maxine first came on the screen, I looked at her outfit, and I don't ever think that I would judge anybody like this, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is like one of those bra and PJ panties sets that she's wearing.
Yeah.
And nothing against Maxine. She looks beautiful and she could pull it off. God knows I couldn't. But I was like, I thought that bra and panty stuff we were done with that from the Attitude Era. Okay. We're going with it.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like, Chad's going to recruit the Alpha, like he's going to recruit the Creeds and probably Ivy Nile as well. So that way, we can, continue on with the old Alpha Academy and someone along with them against the new Alpha Academy for a bit as a mid-card running gag for a couple of months.
Promoting Chad Gable is still around.
Right.
Didn't catch Raw. I'm not spoiling it.
We'll get to it.
I know. I know.
So then we had a Money in the Bank qualifier, three-way, Zelina Vega, Kiana James, and EU Sky. I honestly thought that Zelina Vega was taking the pin in this match.
I thought that as well. I thought actually, no, that's not what I thought. I thought that third girl was going to take the pin. I just wasn't sure if it was going to be Io or Zelina that was going to pin her.
Yeah. I mean, I knew Io was winning because, I wasn't sure if Io was winning because I thought it was like, well, if Kiana James pins Zelina, it's okay. But yeah. So Io Sky is going to be in Money in the Bank for a second year in a row. And also she basically, we'll get to it. It was a segment later on. Just going over as is bit by bit. So then Sami Zayn comes out to talk about how he's done with Chad Gable and yada yada. But unfortunately, they telegraphed what they were going to do because before the commercial break and Sami coming out, they showed the package of Braun Breaker taking out Ricochet. So I am of the opinion that I do believe Ricochet's contract is coming up. However, I do believe he is still considering staying. I know everyone already thinks it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to go to AEW because Will Ospreay is begging for him to go there so they can have another match, which I could give a fuck about because everyone's like, we need Ospreay versus Ricochet 3. Like, bro, they had 9 matches. Like, you've already done everything you can do. And it's like, what? You have Ricochet come in, work Ospreay in one match, and then what does he do for the rest of his time there? Nothing. Could be slimming it on Collision in 6-man matches with Dante Martin. Like, it's just pointless. Like, granted, Tony Khan may offer him all the fucking money in the world, but I just don't see him giving up on where he's been supplanted for years and being away from his wife. I don't see it happening. I could see him taking the summer off and then coming back maybe under a hood, coming back, doing something or whatever, or coming back as a heel. It's a possibility. And everyone just like, well, if he comes back, he can't get up his comeuppance on Braun Breaker because no one would buy that. Yeah, they would. Like anybody can get comeuppance on anybody. And the thing is, I saw some people saying on Twitter, they were just like, there was no noise for Braun Breaker when he came out because they changed his music. No, there was no noise for him because people are already getting sick of the gimmick. People are already getting sick of the Ryback Goldberg clone with added nepotism shtick.
How many times are you gonna pull? Because I was thinking that this is like the Ryback Goldberg, the big fucking buff guy coming in and destroying everything. Like, okay,
right,
got it. Been there, done that.
Right.
Especially now that Braun Strowman is back, you got enough big dudes.
Right.
You got enough.
Right, and it's
Ranger.
He was, and it's like, and he's just like, oh, I want the Intercontinental title. It's like, no, you've been pushed too far, too fast in NXT. We don't need to see that happen on the main roster too. And of course, while he's talking, what was it?
Jamie.
What?
I don't know.
Breaker. Oh yeah, Sheamus. That was it. My bad. I couldn't see my notes. But yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah. While Breaker is going off, suddenly Sheamus comes out.
Yeah, Jamie.
Right. And mind you, Sheamus was talking about going after the Intercontinental title before Mania. He was on Twitter months before Mania, basically saying he wanted the Intercontinental title. But he wasn't cleared to come back yet, obviously. So then they do the whole thing where Breaker mouths off to shit. It's funny. Breaker's just like, oh, so you're just going to stand there and act like I'm not here. And I was like, yeah, fuck you. That's why. I
said the same thing. I was like, yeah, because nobody gives a shit.
Right? Like grown folk are talking. Shut up.
Fuck, I hate that we both were just like, yeah, nobody gives a fuck.
Right.
Sheamus. I just like Sheamus being like, my fellow ginger.
Right.
It's like,
it's like if Sammy's going to drop the Intercontinental title, I'd rather see him drop it to Sheamus, because it makes no sense to put it on someone who's as green as Braun Breaker. And but people are going to be like, he spent time in NXT. Yeah, he spent time in NXT getting shoved down people's throats. Like it, I don't see the appeal of the dude. And I fucking guarantee, especially with like a lot of it's like, the old timer podcasters and stuff, like Bischoff and Cornette and all them who are just like, this guy's got a bright future, blah, blah, blah. If you were to take a guy who looked, acted, everything exactly like Braun Breaker, put him out there, but he had no relation to the Steiner brothers, I doubt they would be saying the same thing. I think they have nostalgia glasses on for people they have worked with and who are just like, this kid. They're like, I like listening to Cornette, but I hate hearing him say Braun Breaker's the future of this business. And if you disagree with me, you're wrong. No, dude, he's one-dimensional and he's still not safe and he's still not ready for national television.
Who as was proven. Like? What other big guy have they put on there that wasn't safe? Oh shit! What was his name? I think it started with an R. Oh shit! What was his name? Comeback? I don't know. I can't Kim Kardashian, she didn't have it. Well, I mean, she got cum on her back. I love you, Chris Pratt. Yeah, no. I could give a fuck less about Braun Breaker.
He's not ready. So then they had Dragon Lee versus Carlito. It was supposed to be Dragon Lee getting his comeuppance for Carlito attacking him before Mania, so he couldn't be in the Mania match, yada yada. And this match just devolved into a whole lot of fuckery.
Yeah.
With the LWO and Judgment Day and Liv Morgan and all this shit, because they're still trying to play up the Liv and the Liv and Dom thing. And,
okay, that's getting stalkery, like like I am uncomfortable.
Yeah, well,
I am uncomfortable,
and this is actually one of the points I wanted to talk about in detail today.
Yes, good.
Especially because they did the bit last week at the hotel room key card, which gave us this amazingness.
I saw that. No, Xavier.
If you know, you know.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
I know you know. I sent you the shit.
I know. That's right. She got porn. Send me the link. You sure you want it? Yes, I'm sure. Send it to me. Is this all? Is that all? You sure there isn't more?
Yep.
I saying that, folks, not him. Me. I'm saying there's gotta be more.
But so I saw someone complaining about, and I agreed with part of what they said, but not what all they said. And they basically complained about how the Liv Dom angle isn't living up to the hype, and people are tuning out, and they're looking at the quarter-hour breakdowns. There's proof of it, and they're like, but then they go off to say, like, you know, Dom had great heat before, and now this is happening, and this is where I need to step in. You can agree with me, you cannot agree with me. This is my observation from the past few years, and it's something that I've been saying on this show since it started. There is an illusion about Dominic Mysterio that the WWE promotions juggernaut has been able to keep the facade up for so long. And it's one of those things where people will still believe it, and they'll believe it for years afterwards, even though it had nothing to do with the person. It had to do with the way they were promoted. And that's the way it is with a lot of people. They're not actually as great of a worker as you think they are. It was the hype surrounding them. Case in point, Ultimate Warrior. When we were all kids, it was the greatest thing in the world. It wasn't until 25 years later that people are like, yeah, he was never good in the ring. I mean, not that much. I mean, so 10, 15 years later, but it was like, it was all hype, yada, yada. Here is my issue. Ever since Dominic Mysterio first debuted on TV, he was shoved down our throats on the main roster. Granted, it was during COVID and there were no crowds. However, he was put on the main roster right away, and he was shoved down our throats as Rey Mysterio's son and in tag teams with Rey Mysterio. And then when the fans came back after lockdown, he was being shoved down our throats with Rey's son. So he had to, like, you had to cheer for him, because who's going to boo Rey Mysterio? Because Rey Mysterio is the perennial babyface, and he is the most over Hispanic talent of the last 20 years. With respect to Eddie Guerrero, just because, yeah. But, and I was calling it near the tail end of Dom and Rey tagging, people were starting to turn on Dom. And I said, you hear it a little more every week, because people were tired of it. They were tired of seeing this kid who doesn't look like a wrestler getting pushed, getting a tag title, yada, yada, and who didn't pay his dues. And everyone's like, because I hated people like, he was trained by Lance Storm. No, he did some stuff with Lance, but Lance's school was already closed and gone when Dom started training. Yeah, he did some one-on-one stuff, but it's not like people I know who went to Lance Storm's Wrestling Academy and graduated from there. There's a difference. So they turned Dom heel, and all of a sudden it's nuclear heat. Why? Because Rey is the biggest Hispanic babyface they have. He is their prototypical luchador, and he is put on that pedestal. He is the legendary luchador. He is beloved by millions, and anybody who you put on the other side of the ring from him is going to get booed. Like, it's in the sense of a program, not like, because if you do like a one-off like tournament babyface versus babyface match, it's going to be a split crowd or whatever. But in a generality of a feud, Rey is always going to get cheered, and whoever is against him is going to get booed. So, son betraying father, and that father being Rey Mysterio, of course, the crowd naturally is going off on Dom, and that was carried for far too long. Every time they noticed that Dom wasn't getting booed as much because when he started getting booed as a babyface, it was go away heat. They decided to flip him heel to cover up that go away heat. Every time that started waning and people just stopped caring, boom, they throw Rey back in a program with him somewhere along the line. That's why and they were like, oh, well, Judgment Day, yada, yada. But the problem was everyone loves Rhea Ripley. And so
yeah, we do.
Exactly. So
yeah,
it's like,
we do.
you can have the heel Judgment Day, but everyone loves Rhea. And they're like, well, we'll put Dom with Rhea, so that way they'll boo Rhea. No, they're just going to still boo Dom. No. And they're going to cheer for Rhea because everyone loves Rhea, because Rhea is a bona fide superstar. So then Rhea gets hurt.
Mommy.
Right? So Rhea gets hurt, and even before Rhea gets hurt, going into Mania, my biggest complaint about Mania was that they threw together this shit last minute so we could have Dom in a tag team match against his dad again. We didn't need it. So we do that. Now Rhea's injured, so now Dom has to stand on his own 2 feet. And he's not getting the reaction that he once was. So they decide starting to do this Liv Morgan stuff. The thing is, Liv doesn't get a reaction. Every storyline Liz has ever had is, I'm fucking this person's other person. Like, that's all she's ever had. The last memorable quote unquote thing she did in her career was the love triangle with Lana and Rusev.
Oh shit, that was funny. I totally forgot about that.
And that was during lockdown. That's how long ago that was.
Holy shit.
And remember when she came back and everyone was like, who the fuck is that? Because she's just generic blonde chick on the roster. Like, the only reason Liv Morgan gets as much TV time as she does is because Alexa Bliss is out on injury. Liv Morgan is the Temu Alexa Bliss in every way, shape, and form. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
You're not.
So we've got Dom and Liv.
I really want to like Liv Morgan. Like, I really do.
Nah.
I feel like there was a point that I was like, fuck yeah, Liv. You go, girl.
Nope.
But where she's at right now with the Dom thing, like I said, like, I'm getting uncomfortable for Dom. Like,
and the thing is, we know it's going to lead to Dom betraying the Judgment Day. Or Dom betraying Rhea when she comes back, basically.
Yeah. Although big props to Daddy Finn. Big props to Daddy Finn for, like, stepping in when it would get creepy. Daddy Finn stepping in and being like, you're not going to touch my boy. And I loved all the conspiracy about him stealing the card, because I was like, the fuck? I was like, Finn, what you doing, boy? You're married.
Just going to get
Which was the saddest day of my life, because you guys were the first one to tell me it happened. Yeah. I will never forget that. You messaged me like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, why? It's like, stay off of wrestling news for a while.
I just had to
Did
take a
Finn
visit
get
to
married or die?
I just had to
I was
take a
like,
visit
ah,
to the
shit,
room
something
and go get some
happened.
business head.
So like anyway, so like props to Daddy Finn. I
Right.
also like the conspiracy theory of because Finn and Liv and AJ were doing the little Bullet Club back in 2022, that like they've been plotting this all along. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe, but
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Liv is playing it off a little too thick.
Right. But
And I don't
then
know about you, but I definitely had a moment where I was like, what is she wearing under that?
yeah.
Because you know at one point it's coming off.
Yep. And so then here's the issue. The Liv and Dom situation isn't getting as much heat as they wanted. So boom, for the 1,000th time, let's throw Rey Mysterio in there again to try to get that heel heat on Dom. And I'm sorry, but I'm tired of it. Because Dom cannot stand on his own. Everyone's like, he's got the it factor. Look at the crowd reaction. No, it's whoever. It's the heat by association is what it is. There's a difference between getting heat as a character on your own and getting heat because of who you are working against. Case in point, and I'm going to toot my own fucking horn here. When Defiant Inc. made its debut, who got all the fucking heel heat?
Oh, I was there that day.
Who had the crowd ready to throw shit at the ring? Me. Who got the crowd to stop chanting for Bobby Ocean when he started doing the sneak attack during that whole raid? Me. Because I know how to exhume singular heat and encompass it, because it had nothing to do with the fact we were beating up Shane Marvel and Wolfgar. It had to do with who we were. For Christ's sakes, we got Christian Frost over because he was a lame duck champion.
My God, there's a name I haven't heard in forever.
Everyone fucking knew it. No one cared about Christian Frost. No one cared about Christian Frost as NEFW champ until we showed up. Heat by association versus natural heat. There's a difference. So yeah, so that was a little the tangent there, but yeah, because we had the whole contrived thing with Liv and the LWO. So now we're gonna get more LWO versus Judgment Day shit, which okay, it gives them something to do. So then here comes Drew McIntyre, top of the hour. What's Drew gonna say? Comes out, crowd chanting CM Punk. Why? I don't get it. He should be a fucking heel. Right.
Why are you shouting for CM Punk?
Right.
I was so angry with that crowd.
Same here. And then Drew just says, to hell with this, I quit. Walks out. Adam Pearce chasing him. No, I'm tired of it. Which, okay.
Triple H caught up to him too.
Yep.
They showed Trips talking to him too.
As far as the story goes, I like it. However, the story would be better having him doing that if we didn't know that he just renewed his contract 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And that's what I said. I was like, I honestly said the same thing. I was like, there's no way that this is real.
Right.
He just renewed his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. But then, I don't know. Like, there's a small part of me that's like, I'd be fucking pissed too.
Right. Like, granted, they probably signed him for when he re-signed his contract. He probably got a decent amount of money as a bump. He probably got a merch bump, yada, yada. But I mean, it's like, dude, like, you're asking me to do this. I need something more out of this. Like, I know that after this contract extension, however many years I sign, like, I'm nearing the end of what I want to do full time.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta do something for me. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you got his WrestleMania moment. Then it got overshadowed. Like, you got to give him something. Like, I know, what we say, belts are a work, all that shit, but this is a guy who deserves a little bit better treatment for the fact that he had to carry the company during a time when there were empty arenas.
Absolutely.
And I still to this day don't believe he has gotten that acceptance.
Same. And it's frustrating.
So he better get a huge payoff out of this. And some people are also like, well, of course, he didn't win the belt because him and Punk doesn't need the title. You're correct. Him and Punk does not need the title. And Punk should never sniff a fucking title shot during the duration of this contract because, number one, there's no reason for it. Number two, he's injury prone. So no, there's no reason for it. And I was also mad when they were like, he's not here tonight, but he's showing up on SmackDown. And I'm like, why?
Why?
They're like, SmackDown's in Chicago. I'm like, and? Give me a better reason for him showing up on SmackDown other than it's in Chicago. And they didn't. That's bad storytelling. Like, you have the draft and you have the brand split for a reason.
Yeah.
Why is he showing up? Why? And I'm telling you, if he shows up on SmackDown and doesn't motherfuck the crowd, we've got an issue. Because he should be public enemy number one right now. He should not still be a babyface. Some people are speculating that with the partnership that's going on with TNA, that Drew might show up in TNA and just challenge for the title there. Which, considering how big of a draw Drew is, that's a bit of a step down. I don't see it really happening. But I'll get to that. I'll get to more of that when we talk about NXT. So yeah. So then we have the EDM twins against Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane. The EDM twins win. And afterwards, there's a bit backstage where EO says that Damage Control needs to change before I change it. Whether this means we're going to get different members, they're going to shake up the stable a little. I would really like if they brought in Meiko Satomura because she's been under contract forever. And, since NXT UK, it would be nice if they brought her in because she's only got a couple of years left in her because she's been wrestling since she was in WCW. Granted, she was 16 or 17, but she was in WCW. Like, she's only got so much time left. Bring her in, or even with the way they've rebranded Wendy Chu, which I'll get to, they could put her with Damage Control. Spice it up a little bit, because it's been 2 years now of Damage Control in the current method. I mean, with Bailey, EO, Dakota, and Asuka. Bailey, EO, Dakota, and then of course Asuka's in there now. But so it could use a little shaking up. With Asuka out on injury, they could do something with it. So then we get Sheamus versus Braun Breaker. Sami Zayn sitting there on commentary. Oh, not on commentary, but just sitting next to commentary. I was genuinely worried because Sheamus hasn't won any major singles matches since returning from injury. He jobbed out in King of the Ring, which was fine. He had a great match with Gunter and everything. But I didn't see anything good of him doing the job to Breaker here. I just didn't see it. And the whole thing was whoever win this match was going to get a shot at Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. There was that one spot where Braun Breaker tried to do that stupid kip up, that stupid springboard into a Frankensteiner, and he fucked up royally. And I said, that's why you should still be in developmental. Because you can't just keep trying to do, everyone thought the first time he was like, oh my God, which the first time he did it, and it didn't look that impressive. And then he fucked up royally and Sheamus had to cover it. And I was waiting for him to take liberties with Sheamus just so Sheamus would stiff the fuck out of him. I was waiting for it. And so we get a schmaz finish with Ludwig Kaiser interfering, which cool. Because I definitely see Ludwig Kaiser as a contender for the Intercontinental title. And this is what I didn't get though. So Kaiser attacked Sheamus and all that stuff, and then and Breaker powders. Sammy's still standing there, and Sammy doesn't do anything to help.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking weird too.
That was weird.
That was weird that Sammy stood by, let all that chaos happen. Although I will say this, I loved the camera angle.
The camera angle was good. However,
of Kaiser coming around and then Braun coming around.
Right. Here's my issue.
Well done.
Here's my issue. Michael Cole keeps trying to pass on this stupid fucking line every week about how Braun Breaker runs the ropes at 23 miles an hour, which is not a possibility because that's 23.
I thought he said 43 this last time.
No, he says 23. Here's the problem. I remember the 3. You know whose sprinting speed is 23 miles an hour? Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world. So maybe don't try to fucking use that as a comparison. But here's my issue. If he's so damn fast, how come him and Kaiser were evenly matched running around the ring?
That was some good timing. It was good timing.
And then, I'm sorry, but why is Braun spearing the heel? I mean, granted, okay, the heel cost him the match, but why is Braun spearing the heel?
Yeah.
And obviously this is going to probably going to set up a fatal 4-way at Money in the Bank, which if you're going to take the title off of Sammy, you can do it without him getting pinned. And I would definitely put it on either Sheamus or Ludwig Kaiser. I would not put it on Braun Breaker. However, doing that 4-way also keeps Braun Breaker away from the Money in the Bank match.
Yes.
Because he's not ready. He is not ready.
I definitely, I don't see him holding a belt. I don't.
Me neither.
Or at least not right now.
Everyone keeps claiming he's going to be the next Brock Lesnar. He's going to be the next Roman Reigns. I'm like, no, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's the next Mojo Rawley.
I just thought that it was so weird that Sammy did nothing, because that seems so out of character for him to not be like, whoa, the fuck are you doing?
It's like somebody forgot that during the production meeting.
Yeah.
Either that or someone missed a spot where he was supposed to get knocked out at ringside before that happened. Which is also a possibility. Yeah. Yeah.
I just, Right. I thought that was odd that Sammy didn't get involved until after all that chaos.
Yeah. So that leads us to our main event, which is another Money in the Bank qualifying match. Jey Uso versus Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor.
My hubby. My wrestling husband.
Yeah.
I love you, Finn.
And once again, decent match. I'm kind of tired of people naysaying on Jey Uso. Because you're getting that contingent of the internet wrestling community now that are like, Jay's a horrible worker and he's only over because Yeet. Like, no, dude.
No.
Jay been in the company for over 15 years.
Jay knows what he doing.
Right. They're like, he's good to tags, but he can't do singles matches. I'm like, I've seen him pull up. Like, do you not recall the match he had with Gunter that led to the him versus Jimmy match at Mania? Like, that was amazing.
Yeah, no, he knows how to hold his own.
Yeah,
he does. He always has.
Yep. That's why I found this, and I could not agree more. Because it's the same thing. Everyone's saying, like, I'm sorry, but you can't say, LA Knight is, the greatest over, because he goes, yeah. Like, I was tired of that shit when he first started doing it. But Jay sucks because all he's got is Yeet. No. Yeah. No.
The Yeet is a little weird, don't get me wrong. Because my kids say it, and it's, for those that don't know, it's basically like a throwing.
Right.
Yeet. Throwing motion from the game.
Yeah. I got my own Yeet shirt that has nothing to do with Jey Uso that I had for 2 years before Jey Uso started saying it.
And it's funny too, because I'm almost positive that at one point they almost banned him from saying it.
Because there was an indie kid from like West Virginia that had a copyright on it, and they were just like, here's a couple grand, shut up.
Yeah. But like I that aside, I've seen Jey Uso live. We have seen Jey Uso live.
Right.
I've seen him live without you.
Yep.
He is amazing.
Right.
He's amazing.
Right.
When he was a tag or alone.
Right.
The kid holds his own. He's paid his dues.
Right.
He just getting right now.
Yeah.
My problem with that match is I'm getting really mad that Finn basically keeps getting pinned for everything. I'm getting really mad that they're just like, oh, a match with Judgment Day? Finn's gonna get pinned. And it's pissing me off.
Right.
Don't pin the fucking demon. Ah!
Nope, don't know you.
It was Finn calling. He went, I agree with Joanna. I did notice, though, in the Judgment Day segments, there's this big, I don't know what it is, if it's a lunchbox or a poster or something, but it's a big demon Finn, and I'm just looking at it like, either he needs to come back, or I fucking want it. It needs to be put on the shop, I fucking want it. Bring the demon back. Bring my prince
back. We'll get him back eventually.
But yeah, stop using Finn to win everything.
But yeah,
use bootleg Finn Balor. Use Timu Finn Balor.
JD Funko Pop.
JD. Use him.
JD Funko
I'm always just like, look, it's Finn Balor and bootleg Finn Balor.
I liked my old name for him better. Mongoloid Balor. It's like he's like Bizarro Balor.
It sucks.
Come on, JD, we gotta do this. You tell me two things, I come running.
Fuck, what did he always say? Monday. Oh no, that was Solomon Grundy.
Goodbye.
Whoa. Hi, coming, Finn.
He's Bizarro Balor.
Come on, JD, let's go. I come beat up. I just feel Finn like, I don't want a carb. Give it to JD. Can't eat carbs.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, he's been hitting the carbs too. Jesus.
What was that?
JD, he been hitting the carbs a little too much. He's starting to get that indie skinny fat look. Like, bro, you on the main roster, you better tighten that shit up.
Finn still got the better booty. Finn still got the better booty. Ladies, argue with me.
Oh God. Yeah. But yeah, so Jay goes over, which this is what I believe. This is my theory as to what's going to happen going forward. Because I don't believe we're going to get Damian Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam. I just don't see that as I don't see it as
it's just not fair. Gunther's gonna fucking kill him.
Right. What I do see happening.
It's not a fair match.
What I see happening is I see Jey Uso winning Money in the Bank and cashing in on Damian after he screws over Seth. And main event Jey Uso is officially main event.
Jey Uso.
Yep. And that way, people are worried about having to hear Yeet in the Bank for months. Like this way, he'll cash in the same night because that hasn't happened with the men's case in a while.
It's really only been happening with the women, honestly.
The women's case, they always have the cash in with the women's case within like 2 weeks of them winning every time.
The women do it real fast. Yeah. The men, they take their time. But the women are like, oh, they're out, going in. But you were just out there, going back out. Let's do it. Like, you literally just won them. Going back out again.
Yeah.
We haven't wiped the blood off if you don't care. Wipe it later.
Right. So then Jay's celebrating. He goes up the rafter. He goes up the bleachers, which is the smart thing to do for the setup.
Yes.
And everyone starts lighting up the fireflies because the fireflies belong to Jay now, which was a whole thing. And I always said that first victim would be Jay, but we'll see how it goes.
To be fair, Jay was given permission when that happened.
Yes.
And he's been very humble about it. And
I actually have something that we can, after we cover.
Yeah. So not going to take that away from Jay. However, in this case, yoink. The fireflies came out.
Yep. The fireflies came out and all of a sudden the lights start going down. And then we see the door. And the door opens. And we see the lantern and out crawls Nikki Cross.
As Sister Abigail.
Yep. And then we start going back. We see the fog and we start going back around the corridors. And we see people laid out. We see referees and people in gorilla all knocked out. And then we turn and we see
Ramblin' Rabbit.
We see Ramblin' Rabbit, who is
Eric Rowan.
Yep, Eric Rowan is Ramblin' Rabbit, and he's got the hammer. And then we turn the corner, and
by the way, that mask was fucking on point.
Yes. Yep.
That Ramblin' Rabbit mask was fucking amazing. Right. Props.
We turn the corner and we see Mercy the Buzzard, and it's Dexter Loomis.
That mask was also good.
And we turn and we see Huskus the pig. It's okay, buddy. We see Huskus the pig, and it's Joe Gacy. And then we turn the corner.
Wait. Somewhere in there, we see Chad Gable.
Chad Gable with
all busted.
I don't know who you are.
I was like, oh god, they killed Chad Gable. Okay, right. Well, that solved that abusive problem.
Right, but so apparently Chad Gable was one of the people knocked out. Apparently Gunter was one of the people knocked out.
Really?
Yeah, like it's hard. Like the people have been like doing a frame by frame to figure it out, but yeah.
Because at first I was like, oh, they just knock people out, and then they show that one ref with like the blood stain, and I'm like, oh god, they killed people.
Yeah, and the blood.
And then they show Chad Gable, and I'm like, oh shit, they killed Chad Gable.
Right.
In memoriam on Monday.
But I mean, we're gonna see where it goes, and then we see Uncle Howdy walking through, and then he comes out, and then they all join together, and we get the post pick.
Oh, that's the run. No, you can't post that one. You son of a bitch. You son of a. Even he was like, who did this? The fact that Ron Killings was like, okay, who done this? Who did this?
I mean, it had to. It was there for the taking.
Yes.
But yep, and so they and then Uncle Howdy holds it up and says, "We're here," and blows it out, and we have the Wyatt Six, SICK number 6, the Wyatt Six. And for everyone saying who's the 6th member, you're stupid. The 6th member is Bray in spirit. Everyone's like, oh, they still need Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is not going to be part of this. Braun Strowman is not going to be part of this. We have the Wyatt Six. And now we'll see where we go from there. It was really emotional. Like
it was
cinema. It was fucking cinema.
Dude, as soon as I cried, I very vividly was sitting there like crying, like hands up like this. Like at one point I was just like looking up, just tears. I was like, they did it. It's finally happening. This already looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope Bray is happy. Because that was a hell of an entrance.
Yeah.
Hell of an entrance. And then all the backstage stuff.
Yeah. So speaking of the backstage stuff, because some people complained because there was a Twitter exclusive that came out after that, an interview with Jey Uso, and that's what I wanted to pull up.
Yeah.
It's going to,
which I was also going to bring up when I had started with the he got permission for the Fireflies, but then this happened, and I was like, good for you, Jay.
Yeah. Share screen. No, not that one. There we go. So this is the exclusive. Where did you go? There you are. Okay.
Well, a well-scouted Uso splash to get yourself to Money in the Bank. Now, you took out a WWE Hall of Famer in Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor. Do you think that's going to help you in the match at Money in the Bank?
Yeah, Kathy. I mean, it boosts my confidence. I know that. Went out there and got the W like I said I was for my peoples who've been eating with me since day one. So I'm very proud about that.
Yeah, well, The WWE universe also very concerned that you actually activated the Fireflies. So what is your response to that?
Did you saw the end of the Raw too? I mean, I don't want no smoke with. I mean, for all I care, they can have the Fireflies back. You know what I'm saying? Because I want no problem with them. But I mean, I'm very happy I did activate Fireflies in the thing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy. Still gonna show the love to Bray Wyatt, but his family is here now. That means I gotta go.
On that note, I will let you go.
You need to go too, because they around here somewhere. Did you see the girl? Did y'all? Come on. Be careful, Cat.
See the light flicker?
Yeet.
I did see that.
And so people were complaining about that on Twitter, going, see, this is why it's not believable, because you go from that thing and then you just go to like, oh, nothing's happening. I'm like, y'all don't understand the context of it. Jay left through the crowd and was on a completely different side of the arena. For all you know, he could have been in one of the service tunnels that the staff used. That's why you didn't see Gorilla or whatever. You just had another interviewer who was nowhere near Gorilla. And they're like, you didn't see all the production equipment? I'm like, there was no production equipment. That was a hallway.
Yeah.
Like,
do you guys not know how stadiums are built?
Right. Like, there's enough suspension of disbelief there as to why Jey Uso wasn't a victim. And just to get his stance on it that way, like because maybe I was wrong thinking Jay was going to be their first victim. And now there's an out there where Jay said, you have him back. I want no qualms with you. So we'll see what happens out of that. That's how you do it. That's called covering your ass from all sides.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just hope they don't fuck it up.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either.
Hope.
I have hope too.
You know, a lot of people are already like writing it off, but I'm like, no, give it some time. Give it some time.
No.
We'll see what happens.
No.
You know,
you can't write this off. You can't.
You know, it's like, yeah, Bray may not be with us anymore, but I guarantee he had a lot of his ideas written down before he left.
He did. They showed it in the documentary.
Right.
If you watch the documentary, which amazing, first of all. Second of all, have tissues. Because, damn.
I hardly think I'm going to jerk off to lions, Karen.
Have tissues for the tears, you son of a bitch.
I know.
But they did. They showed that he had all this written out and drawn out, and like, you know, I know that they revealed what the Fiend costume was going to look like when he came back, and like it was just, I mean,
yeah,
it was
with the partially ripped open face of the Fiend and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one other thing that I needed. I forgot to pull up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. That I thought was once again covering your bases from all sides. Where are you? I hate not being able to see completely. There it is. So I have to share a screen for this, but where'd you go to? I can't see.
Hopefully they didn't hurt Finn.
No. Share screen. This was Indy Hartwell's Twitter.
Oh yeah, because isn't she? Oh God.
She actually had to change because originally she wrote, well, I guess joining a mask-ridden cult and unaliving people is more important than marriage.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'd be like, my man is in the Wyatt Sick6. Yes.
Don't you think
Indy.
you could be too?
To be like, my man is in the Y6. I'm so happy.
So, anyways, so then we move on to NXT from last night. So the big news going into NXT was because Sean is a paint by numbers booker and he's done nothing to build up any people for his main event since the draft. We're going to have a 25-man battle royal to decide who's going to be the next person to face Trick Williams for the title. Because reasons. Like, this is the problem with Sean's booking is they took some people from him, but then like because he plays his favorites and you can obviously see who his favorites are, there aren't enough people being built. But I'll get into more of that after we cover just how NXT opened. Because NXT opened with a lot of the people already in the ring. There were people from NXT, there were people from Raw, there were people from SmackDown because Cody Rhodes told Trick there would be people from different locker rooms there. But the big surprise to kick off the show was the last entrance into the Battle Royal.
Yes. Now,
Wrong screen.
is it though?
Yes.
It's the ladies' man.
I screwed up. Hold on. Because you didn't hear anything, did you?
No.
No. So yeah, I screwed up. My bad. Hold on. I shared the wrong screen because I'm blind. There we go. And I'm just going to move it over so it's next to the right tab here.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is a prestigious wave.
I don't know what to laugh at more, the video or you reacting to the video.
It's fucking Joe Hendry. So Joe Hendry is a Scottish wrestler who has he was in Ring of Honor for a bit. He's gotten really popular in TNA in the past 2 years because of his entrance music and his video. He's gone viral. That entrance video has over 35 million views.
Fair enough.
And basically like among internet wrestling fans, like, you know, the Joe Hendry meme when you see it. And a lot of the internet fans were expecting him to show up at Clash of the Castle because he's Scottish. And everyone was like, say his name and he appears. But he wasn't there, but he showed up on NXT and cuts a little bit of promo, gets in the ring for the Battle Royal, and he's the first one eliminated 45 seconds later.
That's who everybody was pissed about.
Yes.
I read that people were pissed about this guy had shown up. It was super exciting. First one out.
Mm-hmm.
And people were pissed. Okay, now I have a face and a music video. I can see why people were pissed.
Joe Hendry.
Sadly, I do. Don't know him, but that song is going to be stuck in my head the rest of the night. Thanks.
he's eventually going to get signed. Like,
Oh.
I have no doubt about that. He's got a lot of charisma and he's great in the ring. I was like, so yeah, like, and the thing is, of course, all of the AEW tribalists are like, how is it that everyone knew who he was without them doing a hype package? It's like they know how to use Google. It's like, no, because the dude is a walking meme who went viral on his own. Like, there's a difference. Like, nobody knows random indie flippy Japanese guy because he had a bunch of matches in the Tokyo Dome. People know Joe Hendry from fucking videos and memes and viral marketing. That's why. And I guarantee it's not the last we see of Joe Hendry. However, there was another TNA talent in that battle royal that was completely overshadowed, and that was Frankie Kazarian. However, yeah, that's double however. So all these people in there, and it was a lot of it was NXT guys. I was particularly mad because I thought that this would be the time to finally push Lexus King for the title, Brian Pillman Jr. Because since showing up there, he has shown that he can do character work. He can cut promos, both pre-recorded and in front of crowds. He has honed his in-ring work. He works great as a heel. He's there. He's ready. But apparently Sean has some mystical grudge against Brian Pillman, even though he's been dead for 25 years, where he doesn't want to push his kid. Like I said, Sean plays favorites. So Lexus King is eliminated in the middle of it. And I'm like, why? What was the point? Like, he's the one that should have gone over so you could have a good, you could do, because the thing is, which I'll get to, hold that thought. So we see eliminations, and basically, you got mid-carders, you Dragon Lee and Umberto and Angel were in there, and got guys from NXT and yada yada, and Tyler Bate was in there, and it was a lot of filler. And then it comes down to Sean Spears and Javon Evans. And I was just like, oh, so this is what they're going to do with Sean Spears. But no, Javon Evans eliminates Sean Spears. Now, Javon Evans is a newer student at the PC. He is 20 years old, and he's had maybe 5 televised matches. But he's Sean's new favorite because he does flips, because he works like a young Shawn Michaels used to. And the thing is there's other people there. And this is why people got mad at me on Twitter, because I was just like, of all the people you could have chosen to win that match, and you put over this kid who's been on TV for a cup of coffee, like he had his debut NXT match the week after Mania. That's how long he's been on TV. And you're going to give him the main event spot at the next PLE against Trick Williams for the title. And this is my issue, because Trick Williams so far as champion, his flaws can be seen. Sean put the title on him because the crowd loves him. Yes, he has charisma. He's not there yet as far as in-ring work goes, and as far as cutting live promos goes. He still needs work. He should have been in NXT for another year before even sniffing that title, instead of Sean strapping a rocket to him. The one thing that they've been able to do is cover up his flaws by having him in matches with veterans, by putting him in matches with Ilya Dragunov, and by putting him in matches with Ethan Page, who are experienced people. They are able to lead him. And even in the last match he had with Ethan Page, you could see where Trick got lost at times and had to get brought back on the right track. Now, you are going to take this guy who still needs to be led, and you're going to put him in a title match against a 20-year-old with a handful of matches under his belt, and make it the main event of your pay-per-view. There's a problem with that. And this is like when I said to you, I need to go off about NXT. This is what I need to go off about. Because someone said, developmental brand, what do you have against putting younger people over? This is the issue I have. And this comes from my experience working with 3 different wrestling schools in my career. You have a hierarchy within your training system. You have your students or whatever, or people that have been there since the beginning. If you're an established school, or you have veterans who are helping out with your school, you have them at the top of the pecking order. You have people, you have people who have the experience to be able to guide the new trainees. Then you have your mid-tier trainees who have been there maybe a year, maybe a little longer, who are finally starting to get things, and you know that you'll be able to build something with them. And then you have your lowest tier. You have your guys who have been in there less than a year, who don't know jack shit and need to learn. And Kevin Apollo's guy on Shogun, who runs wrestling last night, and I quoted him on Twitter right away, said, if you've been in this business less than 5 years or have less than 1,000 matches, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. And that's the way it is. So you don't take a kid who's come to class training for a month and who's had 1 or 2 matches in front of people and go, I'm going to put you in I'm going to put you in a title match on my next big show. No, you take people who have been there, because there are legit guys in NXT who hadn't been called up yet, who are still in NXT, who have the experience and should be getting pushed in that main picture. You got guys like Idris Anofi and Malik Blade who have been killing it as a tag team for 2 years, but Sean never gives them the time of day. They're always there to do the job, and that's a goddamn shame. Look at Dijak the entire time he was in NXT. He was there as a veteran to build up younger guys, but he was always with guys who were at his experience level. So it really did nothing for either guy. You got guys like Eddie Thorpe who were there, who Eddie Thorpe trained in the New Japan dojos. He trained in New Japan dojos, so he knows discipline. He's worked the indies. He's at that mid-level experience where he should be getting pushed like that. Not this 20-year-old who does flips. That's the problem that no one seems to see. There is a pecking order. And the pecking order, it recycles once you get to the main roster. That's why people like Carmelo Hayes are automatically getting shoved down our throat in the main event picture. They're squabbling a little with guys on the higher card, but they're not automatically getting a belt thrown on them, which would be the travesty of doing it with Braun Breaker, because he's not ready. Sean is not a good booker. I keep saying this because I can see it. Because I have worked under good bookers and I've worked under bad bookers. So I can tell the difference. And Sean is not a good booker. They need a shakeup in NXT. Sean can still be like, maybe have Sean can still be on the committee there, but they need other people there booking. When Regal was booking NXT, shit made sense. When Trips was booking NXT, shit made sense. When Dustin was booking NXT, shit made sense. Shit doesn't make sense now. And I see what they're doing, because NXT moves to the CW network in 3 months. 3 months, it's going to be on the CW, and it's going to be a completely different audience. And much like I saw another show talking about it, the CW has a much more quote unquote urban fan base. So they are obviously pushing a lot of African American talent, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But make sure they have the experience. That's my problem. So yeah, and that was just the Battle Royal. Then they had this 3-way women's tag match. Where it was JC Jane and Jasmine Nix versus Roxanne Perez, the women's champion, and Lola Vice versus Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend from Metaphor. Lash Legend is horrible. She is never going to get better. just because she's a 6'2" chick that used to play for the WNBA doesn't mean anything. She's terrible. She's been there for a few years now and she's not getting any better. It's time to cut her loose. She doesn't have it. She injures people. She's sloppy in the ring. She doesn't know how to sell. Get rid of her. Lola Vice, she's still too green for me to judge. I think she'll eventually get there. But they should give her more personality than I do kickboxing and I'm a Latin chick that shakes my ass, because that's tiresome. That's really tiresome.
Yeah, I'm already tired of it.
Yeah. But yeah, Roxanne and Lola win. Roxanne had mentioned in a promo earlier on about how she saw Lola eyeing the belt last week, and Lola says, I'm not going to turn on you in this. She's like, well, I'll come for that belt when I'm good and ready. But then after they won, Roxanne just turns and back fists Lola and knocks her out anyways, Roxanne's playing a good heel. And it's good to see Roxanne as the champion right now, because she's another one that was under Sean's thumb for too long, who wasn't getting pushed correctly, who, in all honesty, she should be on the main roster by the end of the year. She's a prodigy. She paid her dues in the original Ring of Honor. It's time for her.
Paying dues.
Yep. Paying dues. That's what I'm about, is paying dues.
I agree.
So then we have the first defense of the NXT Women's North American title. I don't understand why we need a secondary women's belt. I don't. And I'm not against women's wrestling, but episodes of NXT have become more and more women's wrestling than balanced. It's 60 to 70% women's matches on the shows now. Like, if you just make a women's show, because it's just, you're wondering why other people can't get over. It's because you're giving too much time to your women's division. And like I'm not saying go back to giving them one match a week with 3 minutes, but they're the majority of your program. At the very least, it should be equal time. So Kehlani Jordan defended against Mia Yim, and she retained. Kehlani Jordan's another one who I think isn't ready for the spot she's in. I think if you're going to do this mid-card champion stuff, I think that belt should have gone to Sol Ruca at the pay-per-view. She's far more over. She's advanced further on. I would have gone that route, but we'll see what happens. Let me see here. After that promo segment, Obafemi, the men's North American champion, had a face-off with Wesley in the ring. Obafemi is another guy who is green as hell, but they have a belt on him. Why? Because he's big and jacked, and he basically looks like if you put fucking Brock Lesnar and Kofi in an Atom Smasher. Like, yes, he's big and jacked. He's still green. You don't need to have a belt on him. He should have spent a year doing the Florida house shows to build up his talent. Then you throw him on TV and start. But no, this is the guy, because the NXT Men's North American title used to be what I called the only semblance of the old black and gold NXT. That's what it was to me. Every time you saw the North American title featured, you knew it was going to be a technical classic, or there was going to be a lot of like differentiating styles, and that match was going to tell the most story on the card. That all went out the window when Wesley had to relinquish it because of a back injury like 6 months ago. And then they went and put it on Dragon Lee, who then dropped it to Obafemi in 2 days. And ever since then, it's like, no, now I'm sorry, but this guy's always going to be big and jacked. That's not going to go away overnight. You should have him running through the undercard and getting his druthers in the ring before, because they're having to do the same thing with him that they have to do with Trick, where they have to put him in there with veterans to hide his weaknesses. They've been putting him in there with Ivar and Josh Briggs and Joe Coffey and all them guys who know what they're doing. So now Wesley wants a shot at the North American title, and they basically made it so this is his last shot at the North American title as long as Obafemi holds it. So either Wes is going to win the title for the 4th time, or he's going to go to the main roster. Either or is better than the current standpoint. Then we had another women's match, Fallon Henry versus Carly Bright. Fallon Henley recently turned heel. I had nothing with this. Yeah, I had nothing to care about this. And I believe Fallon Henley won. I don't know, because this is where I was just like, I can't take anymore. And I turned it off for the night. And I didn't go back and watch it. Then they had the OC with Mia Yim against Chase U with Thea Hale and Rich Holland.
I love Mia.
I love Mia. I love Thea Hale. She's another one who should be getting pushed that isn't, and I don't know why. Because she has the charisma, she has the aura, and she's not sloppy in the ring. And Chase U gets the win. Okay. See where we go from here. Then in the main event, because so earlier on, Ethan Page complains that he was never actually eliminated from the Battle Royal, and he gets in Javon Evans' face in the GM's office and says, I should still be in this, yada yada. And so rookie Javon says, I still got one more match in me. So they decide that that's going to be the main event, is Ethan Page versus Javon Evans. And let's see. Result. Page defeats Javon Evans by pinfall. So what they're probably going to do is now make this main event a triple threat with Ethan Page included, because he says, I've been the guy that did this. And so now Ethan Page is going to have to carry 2 greenhorns instead of 1 in a triple threat. I don't dig it. And because the problem is, the moment you take that belt off Trick Williams, you have 2 options. You either keep him at that main event level going for that belt, or you send him to the main roster. And he's not ready for either of those things. Like, I'm not saying, and I've said it before, I'm not saying he'll never be ready, but he's just not ready right now. It's funny because the same people that say, hold on, let them cook, slow burn, also want to see these people who are not ready to come out of the oven get pushed to the moon. And that's why I say the things that I say, and I do the things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and that's why my opinions differ from some other people. Like I said, like I listen to Jim Cornette's podcast. I listen to Eric Bischoff's podcast, and I agree with them on some things. I don't agree with them on others. I don't see Braun Breaker as a star. They don't, what do you call it? Cornette doesn't see Carmelo Hayes as a star, which I'm sorry, but Carmelo Hayes is the future of that company.
Yeah.
And that's not just me showing preference because it's a kid that I've worked with. That's just me seeing talent. It's like, granted, okay, yes, the people who I see becoming big in the next few years are Carmelo Hayes, Dijak, and Josh Briggs. Have I worked with these men? Yes. Is that the bearing on what I'm saying? No. It's based on what I've seen them do. And also, the one thing that I think, because obviously we're seeing more of a working relationship between NXT and TNA. Jordan Grace faced Roxanne Perez at the PLE, didn't win, but then Jordan Grace did an open challenge at the TNA pay-per-view, and I forget which. There was an NXT women's roster member that came out to face her for it, and Jordan won. So we're doing a 1-on-1. Brooks Jensen has been doing a thing where he's been interfering in the crowd on both shows. we're obviously getting a working relationship between NXT and TNA. Whether we see more TNA with the main roster, who's to say? Two things that I take away from this. One, I think it's utterly hilarious because Mustafa Ali and Dolph Ziggler are in TNA, and they went in there talking shit about how they were held under the thumb of WWE and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, guess what, guys? Guess who you're working with again? How you got to wait that long? You got to wait that long. That's what. But this is the relationship I think that needs to happen. I think because of where TNA is, because they're on Access TV, which is a station that not a lot of people get. I mean, I get it, but I know a lot of people don't get it. They're on a station a lot of people don't get, but they also have the Impact Insiders where you can subscribe to them for $1 a month and watch Impact on the YouTube and everything. They do smaller arenas. Even for their pay-per-views, they only do like max crowd of like 1,400. Like they keep it around 1,000. They try to keep it a uniform look at every place they go. What I think should happen is TNA becomes to NXT what Evolve was to NXT in the from 2015 to 2018, 2019 was there. If there were people in developmental who needed more seasoning, but you couldn't give them TV time, you would send them to work with Evolve and work the Evolve shows in front of the smaller crowds, get their druthers, have them work with the vets there. So that way they're in a different location. They're not taking up your main TV time, and and hopefully they will improve. And then eventually you bring them onto NXT to show what it's done. And in the meantime, you can do the talent exchange of TNA veterans going over to NXT, much like veterans who weren't being used a lot on WWE TV during the early 2000s would go down to OVW because it was a smaller arena. It wasn't seen by as many eyes. And that's the kind of exchange you can have, because there's definitively a handful of people in TNA who are never going to be able to be on WWE television because of their pasts, because of whatever reason. But there's no reason why WWE talents can't go over to TNA for a cup of coffee to do some stuff there. You know, AJ Styles on his fucking farewell tour can go back over to TNA and fucking have one last run over there for a little bit, because that was his gimmick, whatever. And
everybody loves coffee.
And he's not going to be missed over on SmackDown for that couple of months. You know, stuff like that. But yeah, you know, I think that would be the good advantage to it. I think that's the system that needs to take place going forward, as long as this partnership keeps going on, which that's not the only partnership going on, because as announced over the past week, WWE is working with Pro Wrestling Noah once again. AJ Styles is going over there for one of their big events to face Marufuji. And then I think there's a couple of women's talents going over to the next Marigold show, which is the new women's promotion in Japan that popped up in the past few months. So yeah, and supposedly WWE may start working with AAA in Mexico too.
Ooh.
Yeah, since, you know, Tony Khan's giving them the cold shoulder because he wants to work with CMLL instead. So we'll see what happens. But the door is definitely blown way wide open, and TNA is already getting treated better by WWE than they ever were by AEW.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that.
We shall see. We shall see.
We shall see. We shall see. So, two little bits before we finish up with this program. One is I almost jumped the shark on it, but luckily I won't have to. Let me just make sure I have this queued up right. We have to do our new segment, Ladies Love Dusty Rhodes. Oh, hold on, let me get rid of this banner first.
Yes, they do.
We got to do our new segment of the Ladies Love Dusty Rhodes. So For those
And
of you
you do
who
love Dusty Rhodes.
hadn't joined us on our last episode, what happens is I'm going to put a picture of Dusty Rhodes on the screen, and then I'm going to play some audio with it. For those on the audio version only, for all intents and purposes, this is a Lost Dusty Rhodes promo. And
I love that hat.
yeah. And away we go.
And I also got my Viagra. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. Yeah, now the Viagra is a new sex drug. Now, if you are uninformed about this new scientific wonder, then I will tell you that it is used for a very sensitive problem that some unfortunate men must suffer with. And I'm talking, of course, about chronic fatigue syndrome of the wang. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or what I like to call old man's penis. Yeah. You know, old man's penis. Yeah. Now, according to the doctors now, this Viagra can help those sad men who suffer from chronic wangular softitude by producing a very highly sophisticated pharmacological hodifying of the wang, you see. It is all very scientific, but I am prepared to answer any questions that you may have because I am Leon Phelps, the ladies' man. So go ahead, caller.
There's our Ladies Love Dusty Rhodes bit of the week.
And we do love Dusty Rhodes.
So the last thing before I close out is I said I had one more bit of good news concerning the channel.
Yay.
And that is after a long wait period and having to do some reshuffling, I had made an announcement back, I think it was around Thanksgiving, and didn't get to follow through. However, it's finally happening. Next week, next Friday, I will be recording I want to say it's going to be episode 0, and you'll understand why, of the newest podcast to hit the Full Circle Radio Network. And that is the premiere of Wildcard Cinema, which will be a movie review podcast with myself and 2 old friends of mine who I have worked with in theater and in film, who also share film opinions. And it's going to be quite a hoot. And tune in once that episode 0 is up so you can figure out the show's going to be a little different. It's going to have a premise to it, and we're going to explain all how it's different, why it's called Wildcard Cinema on that first little premise. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, you hit that bell for notifications, so that way you know when that drops. Also follow us on social media. I'm on X. I'm at JJ_Alexander. Joanna is at _Jewichan, as you can see right there below our names. You can also see it down in the section below. And once again, this episode has been brought to you by epicshirts.ca. There is a link down in the bottom, as you can see, and you can also just go to epicshirts.ca, and at the checkout, use the coupon code Full Circle Radio for 10% off of your order, now and forever.
All right, so first of all,
yes,
you're going to do a movie review podcast without me?
Listen, there's a certain set time and everything that we need to do this, and this is something that's been in the works for a long time.
Touche. But I need at least one cameo.
We'll see, because it's kind of an odd situation as to how it comes apart, but
all right, that's
you'll understand once we're up and running.
All right, that's fair.
All right. So, anything else you got?
No. I don't really. There really isn't much. I love you, Finn Balor, and I'm glad the Wyatt Sick6 is up, and it's gonna be a little chaotic for me because I start my summer job next week, which is crazy hours. So yeah, if I'm not on, that's why.
Yeah.
This is my spring break, my summer break, which is literally just a week off, and then I go right back to work.
Mhm.
Because despite what people think, spring break is not a joy for
Yeah.
teachers. We got to make money somehow.
Yep.
And then, yay.
Yay.
I love you, friend.
All right. Well, then, for the lovely Joanna Robinson,